we've seen all sorts of extravagant things happening with decks. Like what do you see on the market now that is trending?
In the last 3 years, grays have been very popular.
Grays.
Okay. But you also want to match your house. A lot of it is your siding. If you're looking at a house, you have a brown house and you put a gray deck, it's not going to look the best.
You're listening to the Dore Podcast, where we spotlight the people, ideas, and businesses keeping Ottawa running. From contractors to real estate investors, entrepreneurs to industry experts, we dive into real conversations and help grow everybody's pie.
Episode 43, Ottawa Deck Builders.
So welcome back to another episode of the Dore Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Dore, and today we got a fantastic guest and somebody in deck building, Phil Devine from Ottawa Deck Builders. Phil, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so Phil and his team are known for creating high quality, I know because I've used your services, low maintenance outdoor spaces that not only enhance curb appeal, but also bring real value to homeowners and investors alike. So we'll be diving into how decks can be a smart investment strategy, the latest design trends, and how landlords and property owners can maximize both functionality and return on investment. So Phil, this is something we said before the podcast. I don't even know how you got into this. Like, what brought you into starting Ottawa Deck Builders?
Well, ever since I was young, I've always kind of known that I want to work for myself. I had the capacity of like what I know how to do. It's not just pigeonholed. It's kind of more of a bigger picture. And I've always known that to be most effective, you go in all your strengths and not just in something you know. So my original story is I came from finished carpentry. I went to Algonquin College for cabinet making and furniture technician. I got a diploma and finished woodworking. But right after that, there's not really a big market for cabinet furniture. The biggest market I'd say is kitchens. So I spent about 10 years in the kitchen industry to begin with. So I went and spent the bulk of my time with L'Horizon Kitchens, a local local company. And
okay.
So I spent a lot of time there. I went through a lot of places in their company. So from being on the floor in manufacturing to managing the service department, working in their order processing, and then ending up installing for them. But then, life moves on and situations change. And then I spent some more time, went into territorial sales, and then I wanted to open up a cabinet shop. But with everything going on in the world, especially in the beginning of 2019, with COVID, before COVID,
okay,
I was thinking, well, there's issues with supply chain, like with everything else happening globally. And then also I had a lot of experience with decks because I built decks for friends and families. And amongst all that, I was just thinking to myself, what do I do, right? I want to start a company. I don't have over $1 million to invest in machinery and tools and shop for a cabinet shop. And I thought, what do I do, right? So a good friend of mine in Toronto, which is Composite Deck Shop, his name is Alex Crouppen. He also runs Delta Decks. He reached out to me saying, hey, Phil, I'm opening up a composite store in Ottawa, and we need a contractor carpenter to kind of help us with it, help build the showrooms, be a contractor to recommend.
And this was 2019?
Yeah.
Okay.
2019. Yeah.
Okay.
So in the beginning of 2019, closer to the end of 2019, because COVID really started in 2020.
Right.
He kind of dropped the idea saying, hey, I'm planning, the ball's moving towards Ottawa. And I know you're in kitchens, you're dedicated there, that's what you do. Yeah. But if you know anybody, because I grew up here in Ottawa.
Okay.
And I said, well, let me think about it. Nobody comes to mind. And then a few weeks later, as things kind of, were happening in my life, I was like, you know what, why not do this? So we partnered up, and he took care of my marketing, my website, my advertising, and I worked on actually building the company here in Ottawa.
And do you have a showroom?
No, we don't.
Okay.
So they have a showroom. Ottawa Deck Depot has a showroom. So that's the store that's here in Ottawa. And
Are you still affiliated?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're
I didn't know
still
that.
we work really closely together.
Okay.
Located on Mirabel and Hunt Club.
Nice.
Yeah, and a showroom in Carp.
Okay.
And then also there, and I'm located in Carp as well. My kind of my office space is there as well. And yeah, it's going really well. So we're just finishing our 5th season.
So your
Ottawa.
your focus really is in the field.
Oh yeah.
So you're not in the showroom.
No,
though you're affiliated, but the role is really you're in the field.
Correct.
Getting the guys and.
Yeah, so initially, first couple of years, I was doing all the building myself, and now I got blessed to have other skilled carpenters come on and that don't like to do paperwork. So I take care of that for them.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I'm still on site, I'd say almost every day.
Okay.
Because you need to really be hands-on for the customer experience to be there.
That is interesting. I didn't realize that that's how you got in. So that's why I said in the podcast, even though I've used your services in the past, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
So that's good. So obviously, so you have a supplier for the material.
Correct.
And a showroom if clients want to go in and see the material. And obviously you offer the on-site services, which is what you focus on.
Absolutely.
And because those decks don't get built on their own.
No, they don't.
So obviously one of the things that decks, and I mean, obviously when property management, but obviously you don't just serve clients like us, because sometimes people will fix decks or, they'll just do the basics and then they end up, within, a very short period of time having to replace them. And I know when you did work for me, you were adamant about, the certain materials that you'd use and the ROI. So how does one, when somebody's looking at getting a deck either done or replaced, what should they be thinking of for the best return on dollar invested or spent? What kind of material, how far into it? What do you guide somebody that says, I want a deck? Because a deck can mean a lot of different things for different people.
Yep.
So how do you educate, say, people to make the right decision so that their dollar goes further?
Well, a big thing is also budget, right? When we're looking at composite, the composite's going on the same substrate, the same structure as wood, cedar, ipe, which is like an exotic hardwood that's in decking as well. All that needs a structure to sit on. And it's all made from the same material, right? So, but we treat it differently. But what I'm getting at is when you're looking at the scope of a project, the decking material is only about a third of the actual, the cost. So
the frame is 2/3.
Yeah, you have the structural, you have the decking, you have the railing, you have the labor. Right. The labor in essence is very close to wood or composite or PVC. Whereas then the rest of it is really what you have. So when you're looking at what do I do, like say for a rental property or an investment property, how long are you going to live there or how long are you going to be there is a big thing, right? Do you just want to put a new wooden deck in and sell it within a year? That's one thing. But if you want to, if you're selling in 5 years, if you put a composite in, it's going to be pretty much brand new. I did your deck about 3 years ago. Right.
It looks, and you asked me before, how's it look? And I said, it looks like when you installed it.
Yeah.
It looks brand new. Yeah.
So composite decking is virtually maintenance free. They market it as low maintenance just to cover their butts, really, because if there's, dust or snow on it, you can't, to you, what does maintenance mean?
Yeah. Well, maintenance means for me, it'd be I have to sand it, paint it, stain it, redo it, which clearly with composite, you don't have to do that. So the upfront cost made sense to me, but I can appreciate somebody who, like you said, comes in with a budget. But I guess I hadn't really thought about the idea that in the scope of the work, that 2/3 of that cost has nothing to do with the decking.
Correct.
So the decking is really what needs to be considered, because the structure, the labor, the railings, all of those things typically they get done the same way as any deck.
Yeah. Because if you think about it, composite and PVC decking, an entry line. So like a good quality North American made composite is about twice the price as pressure treated lumber, and twice the price. So that's only 30. So 30% of the overall budget is twice the price.
Correct.
When you look at aluminum and wood railing, it's virtually very close in pricing because wooden railing has a lot of labor associated to it. whereas aluminum railing has a lot less labor associated to it because you're buying more of just the aluminum panel, putting the post in. So the materials are more expensive, but the labor is lower. But then when you look at wooden, the materials are way lower, and
But there's more labor involved to get them installed. So
correct.
Okay.
Right. But then there's also the maintenance on it too, right? In a year or two, do you want it to let it gray out and let it replace it in 5 to 10 years? Or do you want to have something that is, going to be there until I retire?
Yeah, I know.
Or even
exactly.
longer.
So clearly there's a material advantage.
Yeah.
And then what do you see? For example, a homeowner may think very differently than somebody who owns rental properties.
Yeah.
What do you see typically, or is it all over the range? Like, do you see homeowners that go typically more with PVC because or it depends on what they plan on doing, how long they're looking to stay, or is it like all over the board, or do you see a trend depending, if somebody owns a house versus a rental property, like what do you see?
Well, oftentimes I see like people that have rental properties, they don't want to invest additional money into it,
right.
But sometimes they do, right? It's not always the same. But when you put in like a PVC deck or a composite deck, you're not going to be having issues with, splintering, with, needing to stain it, replace it, or the railings kind of getting all finicky because wooden railings get loose over time. Where if aluminum railing's installed properly, it's not going to get loose.
Okay.
So I'd say like I'm a big proponent for maintenance, essentially maintenance-free decking that I'm going to have to do once and then I'm never going to have to do again. But it also depends on budget and what your ability is.
Yeah. So it can be all over the map, really.
Yeah, I'd say it's. I would recommend putting a composite board in because when you look at the range of composites and PVCs, you're looking at $3.50, roughly $1 a linear foot. This is 2025 at the end of 2025.
Yes.
So
that can change. Yeah.
Roughly $3.50 a linear foot, and it goes all the way up to $12 a linear foot.
Oh wow!
So there's a huge variety,
right?
And the benefits to that, I would say, are from a professional standpoint, minimal, right? Because you have a good product, like for example, the main players such as Trex, TimberTech, Fiberon, or Clubhouse Decking. Those are the main players in the North American decking that's made for our North American climate.
Okay.
And when you're looking at those materials, the substrate, the actual like the inside component of the composite and PVC, it's very similar all the way through. But the biggest thing that differs is the capping. So it's polyethylene coating that goes around the composite substrate or the plastic substrate to give it different colors, different textures.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, you may spend more money on a product that looks better.
Right.
Different color variations, right? Different textures.
So would it be fair to say that the lower priced items have less color variations or styles or whichever?
And absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So really it depends. A lot of it has to do with styling more so than wearability or durability or anything of that nature, if I'm understanding correctly.
Correct, right? Okay. So the entry line boards, like say with Fiberon, Trex, and AZEK, they have more of the basic browns, grays, creams. But when you start to get a little higher up on the ends, it's more texture variation, more color variation. Looks a lot like wood. So there's there's a huge rabbit hole when you can go into like what kind of decking do I want? But if you want a more budget friendly composite that's warranted for 25 to 35 years. That's from staining, stain resistant. That's from fading, right? It's not going to fade with the sun. It's got UV blockers in there, and it's not going anywhere.
Because typically, too, I'm assuming, obviously, if somebody's considering the difference between, say, going your basic pressure treated versus composite, there has to be a cost to maintain value that people have to consider as well, or else it doesn't look good after a few years. So if somebody puts, say, a typical pressure treated lumber deck, and I'm assuming you can't stain it right away, it would have to dry, there's be a period before it could actually.
Typically, 3 months. You want to wait for it to kind of to fade a little bit, right? For it to kind of fully dry out, because a lot of pressure treated lumber is still fairly wet when we're installing it.
And the cost of doing that, and then what the cost in comparison, saying to go with an entry level PVC, like people have to consider that.
Well, absolutely. At the end of the day, if you're an investor, I would highly recommend put in a good entry line composite. So then you don't have to, blow the budget on a color variations. But then you're also not paying a company come in, or if you want to do it yourself, to go stain it, sand it, and take care of it for
It's labor intensive to do.
It's labor intensive, and nowadays labor's not getting any cheaper.
No, I know. And then so if say somebody says, no, that's okay, I still want to go to PV, I still want to go to pressure treated, they get it stained. Typically, how long would one expect a stain or paint, whichever, to stay on before having to redo it? Because this is not permanent. Once you stain it or paint it,
correct,
after X amount of time, it has to be redone.
Yeah, so typically a lot of manufacturers for staining recommend to do it almost yearly.
Oh, wow.
So it's a yearly, okay. But it all depends on what you want, right? Like if you want it to look really good, it also depends on the stain. Like the cheaper the stain or the more expensive the stain, the more it actually goes through. So you can, staining and painting is also a rabbit hole within itself. There are different brands like Osmo and Q-Tech, which are higher end stain that is called a high penetration oil stain that goes into the wood. So then it actually absorbs into the lumber and makes it last longer. But they do recommend still reapplying it.
Okay.
Annually.
And do you offer that service?
No, I typically don't offer it, but it's something that I'm aware of being in the industry.
Selling a commercial property? At Dore, we know how to attract the right buyers, price strategically, and help you get over the finish line and close. Let us market your asset the right way and help you get the returns you deserve. Visit us at doremultiresidential.com.
So if somebody goes that route, that's not something that you guys can assist with. You'd probably have a repertoire of people that you'd recommend.
Yeah, there's a list of painting contractors that are very, very reputable, and they do a really good job.
Yeah, because we're involved with a painting company too, and I know they won't touch that. It's a different breed for them of work, and notwithstanding the fact that the weather permitting aspect of doing it makes it problematic to plan their workload, right? So,
yeah, because lumber is a living product, right? Like when you're painting or siding, it's a man-made substrate, so man-made material. So you're not worried about it moving and throwing your stain or paint off.
Right.
Where in your house, you're not looking, your paint's not supposed to peel in a couple of years, but
you're hoping not.
But when we're outside looking at high traffic areas, right, places that you're walking, places that you're salting for winter, that's a big area as well.
Exactly.
That you have the stain literally gets sandpapered off with the salt.
Okay. Yeah, because obviously that's the abrasiveness of it, and people walking all over it and grit and whatever. Ugh. Okay, so so essentially, so if somebody really has to consider, essentially when you're bringing in, I think I'm repeating what you're saying at the beginning. You kind of have to wonder what is it? What do you want this deck to do? Are you looking to sell right away? Then it may make sense to go a cheaper route. But if you're looking to stay or have low maintenance going forward, considering the cost up front being a bit higher, but then what you get out of it over the years, I think is a huge consideration, whether you own or have rental properties.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it really is how much do you value your own time, right? Do you want to pay yourself
That's a good point.
A contractor labor to sand and paint your deck?
Yeah.
Or do you want to spend, or do you want to invest a little bit, a couple more dollars, which is at the end only a third of the cost,
right?
Increase the 1/3 of the cost to have a product that is going to be not like you don't need to replace it until you never have to worry about it again.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, and one of the things too, with decks, like no two decks for the most part are the same.
Correct.
There's a whole design element and creative aspect that comes with this.
Absolutely.
I know the ones that we've done with you was fairly simple because there was already an existing deck, so we're just rebuilding the same things. But I'm assuming that you're involved in. I mean, we have pictures of the stuff that you did. That you're involved in stuff where you're creating something from scratch.
Yeah.
So how do you consult somebody with that? Do they come up with their own designs? You're having designers on staff, or how do you help with that? Because a deck can vary significantly from one place to the other. And,
Well, when you look at the roots of where I came from, my kitchen is the heart of the home.
right.
Right. The kitchen is where you
Good point.
oftentimes entertain. It's where you need to also have a very workable area as well, because you use it every day. Where I would consider a deck is the heart space of your outdoor living space. What is the purpose of the space that you want? If you're going to be wearing shoes outside, or you don't really care, and it's like right on the ground, oftentimes people do interlock. But if you want to be outside barefoot, if you want to, have a little bit more of a finished space, not saying that interlock is not finished, but
Yep.
a deck, just here in North America, it has this kind of feel where it's more finished, where you can be on it barefoot. You're not going to be tracking dirt into the house and such. But when you're looking at a deck, what's the main purpose of it? Do you want to host 12 people? Do you want to have a dining table of 6, 8? Are you going to put in an exterior kitchen on it? Right? Depends on what the purpose of it is. Like if you're wanting it just for access, that's one thing. If you're doing it for entertaining, that's another one as well.
Because the sizes can vary significantly. Absolutely. And so if somebody wants something that's extravagant, obviously with your your knowledge and experience in millwork and so on, are you the one that's consulting them with the design?
Correct.
Or okay, so you're going through the design aspect of it, and whether it's color schemes or design or multi-level or size, or so all of that is handled in-house with you.
Yeah, so like I deal with all the designing and consulting what will look best at your house. And when we're looking at your house, we don't look at just what does your house look like. We also look at, like, if you have a brick, you also have to take in consideration your grout lines. What color is your grout? Is it going to play into the color of your deck? Inside your brick.
Oh,
the mortar.
the mortar for the brick on the house.
Yeah, it's not just the brick, it's also the mortar. It plays a factor of it too. You have all your trim, you have your windows, right?
Okay.
And all these things play into a role of what your deck should look like, the color. You don't want your deck just to bleed into the house, right? So
some type of contrast.
Yeah, so oftentimes we do a two-tone deck. So we do a darker perimeter with a lighter interior. And we'd
those
follow
are
that.
nice.
Yeah, we'd follow those on the stairs and on the skirting as well. But also, when you're looking at a picture frame, that is the dark border that goes around the deck and goes on the side. If it's a bigger deck, do you want the deck to look like it's a part of the house, or do you want to make it look like it's its own space? So you can do the darker color along the house as well, a 4-sided picture frame that then makes it more individual away from your home. But if you have a smaller deck and you want to tie it into the house, you do a 3-sided, like a horseshoe picture frame.
So you don't put the darker part against the house.
No, because then it makes it look its own, right? So when there's a lot of different things to consider for design, also material comes in a certain length too, right? So if you want a deck that's over 20 feet long, you need to, the material doesn't come longer. So how do you get your deck to the decking material properly installed? There's
an art to that. I mean, obviously that's not as simple. I've done a PVC deck on my own many years ago, and had to restart it quite a few times, realizing as you're going through it, then all of a sudden it'd be a bit crooked, or like there's an art to doing that. It's not simple.
Yeah,
so
So breaker boards is a very common design choice to do. Not only functionality.
So breaker board, you mean because of the larger decks?
Yeah, right. So say you have like a 24-foot deck, and you do a breaker board, like the accent color going perpendicular to the direction of the decking.
Right. Because if it's 24 feet, then obviously your board is not long enough, so you have to do some type of design work in order for it to work. Is that what you're getting to?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
So another way is doing staggered butt joints, but being in the industry long enough, I've actually had to replace fix a large amount of those kind of decks. Beautiful backyards where you have the composite that moves and it starts breaking apart. Those end of the lines start to shift.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so it's not like when somebody installs hardwood floors, we have them all staggered. So if you do that with decks, it actually be a problem.
Correct. Because when we're working with an exterior product, wood moves horizontally. It moves with the grain. It moves against the grain.
Okay.
So say you have your board that's a foot long. Wood moves in widthwise.
Okay.
Composite, because it's a man-made product, it's a man-made material, it doesn't move in width, it only moves in length.
Okay, so it could slide into the glide.
Correct. So
okay.
it actually moves in lengthwise. So when you have staggered joints, they can actually fall off the joist and becomes
That's what happened on my deck many years ago. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So now that I think of it, it actually would push the side. So
yeah. So when you do the breaker board,
interesting.
When you do a breaker board, it contains it, so everything moves, everything breathes and moves.
Okay.
In harmony.
Because it's normal, I guess, to have some movement with the temperature change.
Well,
it'll move.
There's no way about it. We're in Canada.
Right. No, exactly. So it has to move. So even the insulation, it needs a bit of give and take in order to move.
So when we're dealing with products outside, you have to have the knowledge. That's why doing things yourself, you could save money, but then in the long run, you could not be saving money when you have to bring someone in that knows that has experience in the industry.
Because the composite deck boarding is not screwed directly into the frame. It's actually like plastic anchors, fasteners that actually holds it in place, so it can move a bit. It's not screwed in directly into the.
It can be. So you can do face screwing and with hidden fasteners. Some materials like entry line Trex and entry line TimberTech have color matched fasteners. Because they scallop the boards to save money on cost of the material, make it more affordable. Okay. The fasteners are color matched, but you can fasten it through, but the clips are stainless steel clips that then are hidden fasteners that go into a groove. Okay. And that is
because if it's drilled in, is there a possibility that they'll warp a bit with temperature change? Or?
Even if it's face screwed, there is still movement.
Okay. Right. It would still move even if they're screwed directly in.
Well, it won't. The whole thing won't slide, but there actually still is movement within itself. So if you don't leave enough clearances for the gapping or space for movement, it will expand and then rip out of those fasteners.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I've seen as well.
I'm sure. Yeah. I can imagine. Yeah, you got to know these things. Yeah.
So right now we're closer to the end of the year, so we would be creating bigger gaps. So that when the summer months come, when it's temperature, when it moves with temperature, not with moisture, when it expands, it has somewhere to expand to. Okay. Or during the summer, we have to make everything tight so that when the winter comes, it doesn't shrink.
That's right. No, exactly. And so so you have to know that. So obviously, when you're installing, if you don't know those little tricks, you can get some nasty surprises as temperature changes. So that's interesting. Yeah, so obviously from a longevity standpoint, I think that's we kind of nailed that down. Yeah. It becomes a decision. And then the design trends, like what are you seeing in today's world? Like, do you see a lot of the people doing the contours of different colors, or
absolutely,
again, it's all over the map? Like, what are the trends that you're seeing now? Like multi-tiered decks or like color schemes? Like what do you see? Because we've seen all sorts of extravagant things happening with decks. Like what do you see on the market now that is trending?
In the last 3 years, grays have been very popular. Grays. Okay. But you also want to match your house. A lot of it is your siding. If you're looking at a house, you have a brown house and you put a gray deck, it's not going to look the best. Okay. So it really depends on what your house looks like. If your house is more classic, more brown colors, then you go for a brown deck.
Okay. And then obviously we talked about the borders being a different color depending if you want it to be, blend into the house or not. But when it comes to multi-tiered decks, I guess then it's really just a preference. Like there's no...
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and then as you mentioned before, if there's, if people want interlock as opposed to deck, then it's really is a personal choice. There's no it really is. That's what they prefer. That's not.
But if you have a picture of your house, it typically is not enough. Okay. I would recommend going to a deck shop, a composite supplier, or having your deck builder come to your house with samples that you can put up against your house and actually make a live decision.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm assuming on your website, do you keep track? Like from memory, I remember you had showed me different variations. Yeah. So if somebody's listening to this and they want to see like different examples of what is available out there, do you have that on your website, or they just go online, or what?
You can go on my look at different pictures on my website.
Okay. What's the website? Yeah.
OttawaDeckBuilders.ca.
.ca. Okay. Yeah. Ottawa Deck Builders with an S. .ca. So you can see different designs there.
Yeah, and if you need samples, Wood Source has samples.
Okay.
Ottawa Deck Depot has a really good showroom with lots of samples you can take home. We built all their showroom for them as well with different color options. Like outside showroom as well with the railing, aluminum railing.
Because I know I speak for myself when it comes to this, but sometimes seeing what's out there, what's been done, it helps with making that decision or having ideas that perhaps we hadn't thought about. Depending on how creative somebody is, and I tend to not be creative, so having designs is definitely a worthwhile. So going on the web, so that's good. So then, when people go through this decision of having a deck redone, like what common mistakes do you see? Over the years, like you've done this for several years, like what are the common mistakes, either from a decision, they made a decision and regretted it, or something else that they've done? What are common mistakes that you see?
So a lot of times people don't take into account moisture.
Okay.
So you have to think about, this is an exterior product that deals with a lot of moisture. So the substrate the frame that you're dealing with is the one that is not getting any of the sun. It needs to dry out. So say you have a pressure treated deck. I've seen people put composite decking right on top of it because they're like, well, the decking is not afraid of moisture, right? It's rated for 25 to 50 years, depending on what material you're getting. I can just put the composite on top and it'll be fine. But in a couple of years, that whole frame is going to be rotted.
Oh, why is that?
Because there's the whole concept of different products having moisture responsibility.
Okay.
That's another big term, moisture responsibility.
Yeah.
So your composite decking has zero moisture responsibility. It does not take in any moisture. It pushes moisture away. So when you have a wooden frame, like your deck frame, it's built on a wooden frame. Now, there are other industry, like Owens Corning is making fiberglass or some kind of fiber framing.
Framing.
Yeah, framing out of, but it's very expensive.
Okay.
There's also aluminum framing that you can do as well, or steel framing. These are all products that, in my personal opinion, aren't quite as popular. And it's not enough of it to bring the cost down to having a consumer-based price.
Professional, reliable, local. Dore Property Management has been Ottawa's choice for 20 plus years. Call 613-227-0000 or visit dorerentals.com.
So why couldn't you put, so you're saying if you put a pressure treated frame and you can't put composite directly on it?
No, you can.
Okay, you can.
No, what I'm saying is that you can't put composite right on top of decking, wooden decking.
Oh, wooden decking. I misunderstood that.
Yeah, okay. So like you're layering multiple layers.
Okay.
Right, because whenever we're taking apart.
So somebody who would do that is because they're trying to repair an existing deck.
It's more of a DIY.
Okay. So what you're saying, I see what you're saying. I misunderstood that. So. Yeah. Okay, so with an existing deck that has just a regular decking, you
need to remove it.
You need to remove the decking in order to put PVC on or composite.
Correct.
What is the difference? Is there a difference between PVC and composite?
Yeah, so composite is WPC. It's a mix of wood and glue.
Okay.
And then you have a full PVC. It's where it's full plastic board. So you have materials that are a mixture of wood and plastic and a product that is pure plastic.
Okay. And is PVC, I guess I'm going off of experience, is PVC a bit more slippery?
No. So depends on the textures that are on the actual capping is what makes it slippery or not slippery. So if you have a brush finished, like
which I'd recommend,
a lot of PVCs are brushed finished.
Yeah.
They aren't as slippery. Where if you're having a regular composite with a wood grain finish, it can be slippery.
Yeah, like PVC I did many years ago, a deck in my house. Beautiful, did it myself. Then I had all the problems you talked about. I had them all. But then, I remember the first snowstorm to go in and shovel the snow, and it was slippery.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, that's dangerous.
Yeah, well, also
because there was no
grip.
Exactly, there's no grip on it, so it's
even
very slippery.
An old pressure treated deck also ends up being slippery as well. If you have any like mold or any like moss growing on it, it's still super slippery as well.
Okay.
It just when there's ice, you have to be careful.
Okay.
But I wanted to kind of talk a little bit more about the moisture responsibility.
Yes. Yeah.
When you have a wooden frame, the frame is going to be absorbing all the moisture from the rain, from the elements. So that's why there's a product called Joist tape, a joist protectant.
Right.
So you coat, you put a protective layer on top of your frame to prevent the moisture from going into the frame. So it goes on the side and then it wicks away instead of sitting on top between your boards and rotting your frame.
Okay. And I remember you telling me that when we did ours, and am I mistaken that there's another advantage from, was it for squeaking or something? Was there not? There was something else with, or maybe I'm mistaken with something else.
Well, online, it's actually a really big topic of saying, oh, joist, it's not going to do anything. The fasteners you put through are just going to let the water through, so it's not going to do anything.
Okay.
When you look at the density of PVCs and composites, it's very dense. And when a fastener goes through, it gets extremely hot.
Okay.
And when these joist tapes are applied, they're made out of a butyl compound. It's the same compound that they seal your windshield with on your car.
Okay.
It's only afraid of UV light, but when it's down inside on the joist between the decking, it doesn't get any of the UV. So you're not afraid of it deteriorating from the sunlight. And then when it goes through, it's all marketed as being self-sealing. So you have this hot fastener, this hot screw that goes through the deck and then into your frame, and it seals around it.
Okay.
So you don't have to...
Oh, it seals it. Okay, because it gets hot, and I guess, and then it dries back up, or is
Correct.
It, okay, it melts a bit, I guess?
Yeah, it melts a bit because it's a hot fastener. By the time it drills right, because it's self-drilling screws as well that goes through the composite.
Okay.
So it's self-sealing butyl tape that prolongs the service life of your wooden frame that you want it to live as long as your composite decking or PVC decking that's going to last up to 30, 40 years.
No, exactly. So if somebody has an existing deck, they remove the decking, they want to put PVC or composite, you're recommending that they put this tape on,
absolutely,
regardless, to try to prevent the deterioration of the frame.
Correct.
By putting the decks on. So don't put your composite decking on an existing decking.
Correct.
Or else you'll rot it really quickly.
On existing decking, or don't put it on a frame without any kind of protectant.
Okay.
On your existing frame.
Interesting.
We actually do a fair amount of refacing as well. So if your wooden deck is still in decent shape, and you look at your frame's in good shape too, you need a professional come and actually inspect the frame to make sure it's still in good condition. You can take off your wooden decking and put down composite decking on top. But you'd have to be pay a lot of attention to the joist spacing, the spacing between your frame, to make sure that it's rated for composite.
Oh, it's a different spacing because it's composite?
PT decking, so pressure treated decking, is theoretically rated up to 18 inches. Some people, depends if you're doing a 2x6, you can go up to 24 inches on joist centers.
Wow.
Where it's composite decking needs 16 inches maximum, and PVC needs 12 inches maximum. So you're doing a joist every foot for PVC because it's a softer material. You don't want it to bend on you.
That's good to know. Okay. Any other mistakes you see people make?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is what people like to hear.
Yeah. Another issue is people blocking out vents. So you have HVAC vents, you have dryer vents, and they just put the deck right over it with and not adequate venting or cut arounds, and
that can be a problem.
Yeah. So you got the issues that would cause an issue for code violation for safety. Yeah. Because if your furnace vent is pushing out moisture and it's not getting enough airflow, you get the smells coming up through the deck, or you have the vents get blocked at worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So
that's not good.
So be very mindful of your utilities when you're building a deck outside as well, that you don't want to block them, or you want to give it adequate spacing and venting.
And I'm listening to that because obviously that's a very important and safety related issue. I think people need to be careful with, because a lot of people think they'll just do it and next thing you know, they run into an issue.
Yeah.
Is there, like in the city of Ottawa, what is the permitting rules with respect to decking? Like if somebody has an existing deck or replacement deck, like what are the thresholds for having to get a permit or not? Or does the city need to get involved?
Absolutely, right. So you need to know, when do I need to notify the city to get a permit? If the deck is over 24 inches of the ground, meaning 24. You need railing.
Okay.
Right. So there is a height and a size restriction on getting a permit. If your deck is currently right now, if it's below 24 inches and under 100 square feet, so like under 10 by 10, you don't need a permit for it.
Okay.
If you have a deck that's higher, that's larger, the city asks to get a permit for it.
Okay. And do you handle that on behalf of the clients, or?
I can do that. So as a company, as a professional builder contractor, I can't submit a hand drawing to the city. The city requires a BCIN stamped drawing.
So what's a BCIN?
BCIN designer is a person that understands and knows the code of Ontario, and they have to have a certificate. So they make a draft. A design, then that you submit to the city. Okay.
And you can handle that, but you need that
correct,
that drawing.
So as a business, I take care of the drawings. I have professionals that do that for me. Gotcha. But that's another cost associated to your decking.
Roger.
If you want a permit as a homeowner, you can submit a hand drawing to the city, and they treat you differently.
Gotcha.
Right. So they would guide you more through it as a homeowner, but as a business, I would have to.
And what's that additional cost, just so people understand? Because obviously, having it done themselves versus like, what is the additional cost to get it done professionally?
So a drawing
approximately.
I know it can vary from 15 to 2,000, depending on the complexity. It can go even higher if your deck is really complex. But for a standard, even just a standard square deck with a single staircase, it's roughly $1,500.
Okay.
For a BCIN designer to draw it up for you.
Okay. Sounds good. And then at least, because I've seen horror stories where people don't do that, or they do it incorrectly, and then there's a code violation, and then they have to rip it up or have to redo it, and then that's even worse.
Yeah. Well, being in real estate and yourself, right?
I've seen things happen where you're like, oh.
Yeah. There's two components to a permit.
Yeah.
There is your zoning, and there's your structural. When you look at your zoning, you have to make sure that whatever you're building is within the allotment, what you're allowed to build, square footage of your backyard space. So they look at property lines, they look at zoning. What are you allowed to build in size of term, like in terms of size? That's a zoning aspect. But the second aspect of it is structural, to make sure that you're building the proper frame for safety, for what you're building.
All right.
Now, it's also really important to keep in mind that the Ontario Building Code is the minimal requirement for what you can do. So everything we build is above code. So what the building code requires is minimal. So we always go above and beyond that. So for joist spacings between your beams, for different sizes of your beams or your posts, or for all that structural components, we go above and beyond what the minimal requirement is.
Okay. And is there a reason for that, or is it just
Well, why not spend an extra 2% material?
Okay, fair enough. Okay,
for something that's never going to have an issue.
Yeah, no, but that's good. That's why I wanted to point it out, because obviously it's a minimal. It's a minimal change in cost is what you're getting.
Yeah.
And then you get something that is not just standard, but it's above standards. And
right.
Okay, sounds good.
Because every year or every couple of years, the code changes, right? So something that was like 20 years ago was very lenient. Like we're taking apart old decks that would have never passed code to begin with.
Okay.
Because they don't have the proper spacing, the boards the joists are too far away from each other, etc. But to compare it to modern day code.
Nah, gotcha. So it's actually you're just you're protecting yourself for the future.
Well, why not do it right?
Well, no, I agree, especially when it's a minimal cost difference. So
yeah,
so that's good.
Do it right the first time, so you don't have to worry about it. Doing it the second time, twice as expensive.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. That's good. That's good to know. And do you have any social media voices that you listen to in your industry that you say like these are the types of guys I like to listen to and get some sense of the market, the trends, what's happening? Anybody on your radar that you keep tabs on?
Yeah, I actually follow a podcast called the Ultimate Deck Podcast.
Okay,
it's a Canadian-based podcast out of Winnipeg, Canada.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a deck. Like what is this subject more for contractors or for end users?
I'd say for everybody. They talk about decking. They talk about the different components of decking, different materials. They're talking about the latest information and latest products that are coming out, and they review it, and they're builders of themselves. So,
well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
No, that's good to know. So that's if somebody wants a creative aspect, they can listen in and then call you to get it done.
Yeah, there's another deck builder out on the West Coast in American Washington called Dr. Decks.
Dr. Decks, and do they have a podcast too?
No, but he has a fairly large media presence.
Okay.
He's really fun to watch. He's been doing it forever.
Okay.
He is really he's really cool because he does really elaborate designs. He does like really big curved decks, circular decks, and stuff that's that's worthy of a magazine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's so funny with social media. You can go so deep into on a certain subject.
Yeah.
And it's fun to be able to do that. So especially when it's in your field and you get to collaborate and understand and get ideas, and that's
Absolutely.
Awesome. That is cool. This is fun.
Yeah, this is great.
So Phil, thank you for joining me today. I think the audience, anybody that's looking for decks or wants an understanding about what they're doing or how to do it or what not to do, I think will learn. And if anybody wants to learn more about you or reach out to you, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Go on our website, ottawadeckbuilders.ca, builders with an S at the end of it, and just submit a form, question form. And I get that immediately, and that's the best way to get a hold of me, because that goes directly to me. Sometimes with emails, sometimes they can get lost because everybody's emailing you. But but when you're looking specifically to get in contact with me for a quote or for a consultation, doing a website form is very effective.
Yeah, and it gives you a bit of background, what people are looking for, and then you can kind of get there a bit prepared with what the demand is.
Yeah, you just put in your name, your number, or your email, and a message of what you're looking for.
Nice.
And then we can continue the conversation, usually via email or via telephone call.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And to our listeners, again, thank you for tuning in. And as Mike always wants me to say, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And see you next time.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Dore Podcast. If you're an entrepreneur or investor focused on real estate in Ottawa, we want to hear from you. Apply to be a guest and check out our video content anytime on YouTube.